what you just heard, those were snippets of approximately 30 minutes of conversation. Is that correct?
Correct.
And during those 30 minutes of conversation, at any point in time, did Relli ever tell you that the shooting did not happen?
No.
Did he ever tell you at any point in time, you know what? Yeah, I'm trying to get his money, but I made the whole thing up.
No.
In fact, isn't it true that what he was telling you was that that man shot at him and Relli wanted to make sure that he got his for what happened? Is that correct?
That's what Relli said.
And you weren't there, is that correct?
No.
Correct? Hold
Yeah.
on. That was a double negative. You weren't there, were you?
No, I was not.
And you don't have any idea whether or not this incident happened or didn't happen.
No.
So here's my, did you ever ask Relli? Hey, I'm sorry, did you ever ask the defendant, hey, listen, this guy's saying you shot at him. You ever ask him what happened?
Objection relevance.
You ever ask him what happened?
I don't recall.
So you are having conversations with Relli, which you're taping, and then immediately calling the defendant to report what happened. And you're telling me you've never asked the man, hey, did you cap 2 rounds at him?
I said I don't recall.
Well, is that something you think you remember?
3 years ago, I don't recall.
So you're telling me, I just want to make sure I understand this. Your testimony is, yeah, I'm recording him and I'm well aware of this situation that happened. And I've talked to the defendant about it. I talk to him every couple of months. But I've never asked him, hey, Relli's accusing you of shooting him. Did you do it? You never asked him that.
I don't recall. No.
Well, isn't it true? You didn't ask him that because you don't want to know the answer.
Objection, Your Honor. The state's testimony says it doesn't recall.
It's cross-examination.
Yeah, it's a fair question or question.
Isn't it true that you didn't ask him that question because you don't want to know the answer?
Like I said, I don't recall, but I might have asked him.
So now you're saying you might have asked him if he shot Relli, but you don't remember the answer?
I said I don't recall me asking him that question. Right?
So let me be clear. I want to know, has the defendant ever discussed with you anything about the shooting?
No.
So then your answer would be, if you ever asked him about it, would be a definite no, correct?
Sure. Correct. Sorry.
Then why is it a moment ago you just said, I don't know, I don't remember?
Because I don't recall.
So, do you understand the difference between no and I don't recall?
Yes.
So, no, would you agree, would mean he absolutely never mentioned anything, and I don't recall would be, I'm not sure. Would you agree with that, those definitions?
You can agree to that.
And my question is, don't you think that as you're taping Relli for somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes, getting information about this incident and about what he intends to do, and then calling the defendant back immediately to report what happened, that you might have had a conversation with him about, hey, dude, what actually happened? Did you shoot the guy? You're saying that didn't happen, you never asked?
Never asked.
Are you curious?
No.
So you don't have any interest at all as to whether or not the defendant actually shot at Relli.
Doesn't make a relevancy objection again.
Sergeant Manager, please. And go on to another subject.
So would you agree, your position is that you are talking to Relli and he is telling you about what he intends to do in terms of getting money from the defendant? Would you agree?
Yes.
Did you ever say to Relli during any of these calls that you recorded, hey Relli, how come you're getting money from him if the shooting never happened?
Never asked that.
Don't you think that would be a legitimate question to ask them?
No, I was just hearing your side of the story.
Well, and in fact, you would agree that there is nothing that Terell has ever said to you, nothing, that in any way indicates that the shooting did not happen. You agree?
I agree.
Would you also agree that whatever efforts Relli makes after the shooting, however much money he asks for, whatever calls he makes, does that change what happened during the incident?
Objection. Improper question.
What's that?
Sorry, man.
Well, let me ask you something. I'm asking you. You're taping him and you're reporting that conversation to the defendant. I'm asking you, is there anything about Relli's statements about suing the defendant, trying to get $30 million, is there anything about those statements that you are aware of that changes what actually happened the night of the incident?
No, I think I answered that.
So would you agree that whether or not Relli sues for $1, 20 million, 100 million, 20 gajillion dollars, that in the end, either the shooting happened or it didn't? Would you agree?
Yes.
And it's your further testimony that despite all that, you've never had one conversation or asked him one question, the defendant, about what actually transpired.
Objection asked.
Statements.
How many calls in total did you record?
2.
2 calls? Now, you said that you were upset because the idea that Relli was coming into court, you said you were offended by his line. Is that correct?
Yes.
When you were taping his calls, did he know you were taping?
No.
Do you think that friends tape other friends' phone calls?
Sometimes they can.
I'm asking you. I'm not asking you physically. I assume, sir, that if somebody wants to record a call, I didn't ask whether it's technically possible. I'm asking you, do you think that a friend records their friend's phone calls when that person doesn't know it?
Objection, he gave an answer.
That's not a legal objection. It's not
Yes,
what
it
they
is.
It's an
Yes,
objectionable
an answer.
question. It's speculation. What friends do is irrelevant. Ask another question.
You called Terell a friend of yours, correct?
Yes.
Do you think that it was being a friend of his to tape his phone calls without his knowledge?
Yes.
How was that being a friend to Terell?
Sometimes friends do things like that.
You mean sometimes friends betray friends by taping their calls and then calling other people to report what they found? Is that what you mean?
That's more than called betrayal.
It's argumentative.
So, when is the last time that you had spoken to the defendant prior to immediately calling him after the May 2022 phone call?
I didn't talk to him.
What's that?
I said I didn't talk to him prior to Relli calling me.
No, so, well, you talked to him before, so I'm asking the last time. When did the last time been?
I'm not sure.
When is the first time? So, when did you first find out about the whole incident, the shooting? When did you find out?
From
about it?
Relli in 2022.
No, I'm not asking when you found out from Relli. When did you first hear about the shooting?
When Relli told me.
So you're saying you had never heard about this shooting that happened to your friend, ASAP Rocky, until May of 2022?
Correct.
So you're saying you speak to him every other month. You're aware that that shooting, that incident happened in November 2021, right?
Yes.
And you're saying that even though your friend was involved in a shooting, lead shooting, ASAP Rocky, you didn't hear about it for 5 months?
I heard about it from Relli first.
And you said the first time you heard about it from Relli was in May of 2022. That's what you just testified to, correct?
Yes.
So When's the first time you talked to Relli after November of 2021?
I'm not sure.
Well, give me an estimate of when the last time you spoke to him was.
I said I'm not sure.
Well, here's my question. You would agree that the shooting involving ASAP Rocky, that was a big media event. Would you agree?
Yes.
Didn't you say, wait, what do you do for a living? Let me just get this right. You basically work on people's boosting their media profile, correct?
It's not what I do for a living.
What do you do for a living?
I'm not sure if you heard, but I run a technology agency and we build websites, software for brands, creatives, artists, musicians.
Right, and you testified, quote,
And part of that, if you want me to get into it, sometimes people offer things like Relli did to help with their social media.
you are very involved in the rap and entertainment world, correct?
No, I'm not. I'm not a rapper. I don't make music. I don't produce beats.
That's not what I asked you.
You asked if I'm involved in the rap.
Are you involved in working with individuals in the music, rap, and entertainment world?
No. Might be 10%, 20% of my client list.
So it's 10% or 20% of your client list, but ASAP Rocky is approximately 20 to 25% of your income. I just want to clarify, is that correct?
You said, is my client list rappers or in the music industry? Repeat the question.
So here's what I'm asking you. You're telling me you've never heard of this incident until May of 2022.
Until Relli told me.
You're telling me that Relli is contacting you saying he wants you to boost his media profile and he's naming outlets like Rolling Stone magazine, correct?
Yes.
So wouldn't it be your job to be monitoring what's going on in the media with individuals that you're talking to?
No, it's not my job.
So let me ask you something. Your sworn testimony is, Relli told me about it for the first time in May 2022. That's the first I heard of this shooting, correct?
Yes.
Let me ask you, given what you do for a living, does that sound reasonable to you?
Yes.